Hello everyone, we are back, and this time we are going to be going into the story of Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. Now, I want to do a big call out to Beetle and Grimm since they made this amazing kit that I used to run through my copy of it, and this thing has been insanely cool and was really great to have, and I was glad I was able to pick up one of the Platinum Editions when they were on sale. So, if you really like these nice, fancier sets, I will suggest going to get them on maybe even the Curse of Strahd or the Icewind Dale set. But this is the one warning that everyone's going to get. So if you're not interested in spoilers, turn away now. There will be huge spoilers for the story of this adventure all throughout this video, solely for the purpose of developing where the condition is of Baldur's Gate for Baldur's Gate 3. I do not intend to do story breakdowns of major campaigns in the future, simply because people do not enjoy spoilers of that. If they did, they were going to watch a playthrough of it, not a quick little breakdown. So, this is not going to be a normal video. This is solely for Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, so I want to thank you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, and we'll begin to see some of the props as I break down Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. So before we discuss the actual story of Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, let's give a little bit of history about the events. A city slightly to the north of Baldur's Gate by the name of Elturel was originally come upon by an angel, Zariel. Now, Zariel led members of Elturel, paladins that became known as the Hell Riders. These paladins, with Zariel, descended into hell to strike down the evil that goes there. This led to Zariel's fall and made the Hell Riders scapegoats for events to come. And after Zariel's fall, she then wrests control of Hell from Bel and becomes the new Archduke of Hell. Well, Avernus, I should say, the first layer of Hell. Second thing you should know about the history is that while in Avernus, the currency are these here, soul coins, minted with the souls of mortals who are doomed to go to Avernus, whether they sold their soul or they just weren't a good person. Now, as we've said, the major city that is involved in this is Baldur's Gate. This is their crest here, and this is what our story is going to be themed around. And lastly, our last major group, and those who've played the video games are very familiar with, is going to be the Flaming Fist. They are going to be your main contact and support through Baldur's Gate Descend to Avernus, at least until you go into Avernus. So now let's go ahead and start breaking down the story. So the story starts with the city of Elturel, a city that has a great artifact known as the Companion, a giant orb that sits in the sky that has protected the city from undead for years. This orb glows with power and all of a sudden goes dark. And when it goes dark, it causes the city to descend into Avernus. Now, little known to the people at the time, but Davius Krieg, the leader of the city, has signed a contract with Zariel herself that has promised people of the city, and as you can see, mine broke on me, I will have to fix that, to her. She intends to use all these souls to bolster her forces and push back against the demons in the Blood War, and finally take the fight to them instead of it sitting here on Avernus' footstep. Now, Davius Krieg is in hiding with a group of nobles here in Baldur's Gate. These nobles are the Van Thamper family, and they are trying to wrest control of the city as the leader of the family is trying to become the new Grand Duke of Baldur's Gate and have Baldur's Gate suffer a similar fate to Elturel. But upon your arrival, you learn that it is other groups that are causing unrest in the city. The cults of the Dead Three. These are the gods Myrkul, Bane, and Baal. Now, those who play the games have become very familiar with Baal. But I'm pretty sure most of you don't know who Bane or Myrkul is. And I'll get back to them in their own little video explaining why the Dead Three are so important as gods and who they really are. And this will be their story. But moving forward with Descent into Avernus, you learn that the Van Thampers are actually guiding the cults and causing this unrest. And this is how they plan to wrest control of the city and show that the Flaming Fist are not able to keep the city safe. Now, after stopping the Van Thamper family and stealing an artifact from their crypt, known simply as the Shield of the Hidden Lord, this is a Devil Lord who is trapped inside of this sentient artifact, and he, through his telepathic communications, insists that he can help the adventurers in completing their task, though really he just wishes to be released. They make their way to Candlekeep so that they can learn how to travel into Avernus and save Elturel. While in Candlekeep, they're taught about a particular mage who can send them along their way, seeing as the wards around Candlekeep would not allow this particular type of travel. But, as added incentive, they're told that there is a guide there who needs to return to Avernus as well, and will be much help to the city. So, this is where the group finally meets Lulu, a Holophant who has lost most of her memory as well as most of her power, and is very important to the story in determining what type of result you have when you complete it. Are you going to be the heroes? Are you going to be new villains? Are you going to fall somewhere in between? Now, we're going to focus the story on assuming that the party is able to do everything right and get the ultimate good out of the events and bring everything to the way that it should be. Because this is going to be the intended canon. But, as we all know, stories don't always go as they're intended. So, just because you are watching this, if you do intend to play this campaign in the future, don't expect things to go down exactly how I'm describing them. Your results may vary, and you may end up being the villain. But that's for you and your group to figure out for yourselves. Hopefully you're heroes. Sometimes you're not. So, upon descending into Avernus, the players arrive in Elturel. The city is in much duress as it's now in hell. And it takes the adventurers a bit of exploring to be able to escape the city. But first they have to stop the key and high cleric of the city, who has put the city under even more duress as he has lost his sanity to the situation at hand, and is no longer alive, but undead. Even though he himself was a worshipper of Lathander, he is no longer the moral backbone of this city. As we progress on, they are able to find some way to safely descend from the city and see that the city is being dragged towards the river Styx. This is our little timer. This is why you want to quickly save the city and not linger. Not to mention, who really wants to linger in hell? Things are not great here. All food tastes of ash, and you can easily get lost. Thankfully, you've got Lulu as a guide. But the first place you go to is a scrap yard, under the control of a hag simply known as Mother Maggie. Now, she, upon doing a little bit of work for her, gifts you with an infernal war machine. As you can see up on my shelf up there. It's a pretty huge mini, and it's pretty epic. Now, once you gain your infernal war machine, you're free to really travel Avernus and start developing your allies, as well as learning what has actually happened. And you slowly regain Lulu's memories until the point that Lulu determines that the whole thing that you're here to do is reobtain the Sword of Zariel. Upon doing so is when Lulu will finally get all of her powers back, as well as all of her memories. And using this artifact and the allies you've gained up to this point, you can go confront Zariel. The hope is that you will bring Zariel back to the light, that you'll redeem her, and she'll no longer be a devil, but return to her celestial form. If you can do this, she will easily return the city of Elturel back to the surface, as well as free everyone from the contract that she made. This is the best possible outcome and the intended outcome of the events of the story. As I said, there are other ways this could go down, but that's going to be for you to discover for yourself. So, I encourage you, go find a group, find a good DM, and play through Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus if you really want to experience the story yourself. But these are the events that are leading up to the immediate days before Baldur's Gate 3. And now, between our breakdowns of the stories of the 3 novels of the Baldur's Gate games and this, you are now ready with the knowledge to journey into Baldur's Gate 3. So please join with me as I will be streaming on Sundays, starting immediately the Sunday after the release of the early access of Baldur's Gate 3. I will be doing this between the hours of noon and 4, so I hope you Eastern Standard Time. So I hope you can join me as we will experience together Baldur's Gate 3 and what its story has in tune for us. And after this, I also have a few other videos to help you prepare, as I'm going to break down the basics of Dungeons & Dragons that Larian Studios hopes to portray with this new game, as well as breaking down the classes so you can really decide what it is that you want to play and what we know about the companions that you have available to you so far. So, hope to see you then, and enjoy.